Welcome to the Heart and Soul of Business Leadership Interview Series, presented by Wasatch ActionCOACH.
Well, thanks so much for joining us in for our next interview in our leadership interview series. Today we have with us Jaden Robison. He is the owner of Robison Web. And we also have Coach Sterling Broadhead. He is the Director of Coaching for Wasatch ActionCOACH and a certified business coach. Thanks so much for being here today, Jaden.
Thanks for having me.
Very good. So, Jaden, can you tell us a little bit about your company?
Yeah, so for Robison Web, we build websites and do some marketing and SEO stuff. We mainly focus on general contractors because that's my background, and my wife, who is a co-owner with me and our developer, she also is focusing on the contractor websites and really likes working on them. So it seemed to work good. And I also work for my dad doing concrete flat work. And so those two, I was trying to find a way to stay in the trade industry, but also have my own thing. So
wonderful. And what leads you to start into this business?
So I was studying engineering, trying to get out of concrete, and then met my wife, and she's a web developer, and so I kind of switched towards that. So I studied web development too. She does most of our developing, but that was what led us to this. So we both wanted to start a business, and just ended up working out like that.
Great. And what's your favorite part about being a business owner?
Well, it's a lot of work, and I like staying busy, and I like the freedom that we have to do what we want is the main thing. Working for people can be difficult. Having to do, not necessarily have control over creative control or anything like that.
Sure.
There's a lot of, I mean, right now it's pretty, it's fun. I like it. It's a challenge. So
good. And speaking of challenges, what's one main challenge you've had while starting a business?
That would probably be time management. I mean, obviously I work full time, and my wife worked full time as well while we started. So it was pretty hard that way. The time management, I'd say, and maybe not necessarily sales, but all of the different aspects of the company running through us, because we don't have any employees right now. So that's a lot of the initial struggles.
Oh yeah, I'd say that's a common challenge for sure.
Yeah.
With business owners. So yep, awesome. And what's next for your business?
Next, we're looking every day to find new ways to help out general contractors. There's a lot of myths in the trades and the construction industry on technology, marketing, and websites. So kind of, I'm starting a podcast soon, for contractors, and kind of tying in technology and the future of how businesses are going to be run, and especially in the contracting industry, integrating websites, marketing, and even AI type stuff into helping run their sales and all that type of stuff, because there's a lot of disconnect between the two.
Yeah.
So that's next for us.
Yeah, and now that you've been in this business, do you have any advice for aspiring entrepreneurs or new business owners?
I would say just start, because that's a lot of the stuff that holds people back is not knowing, and thinking they're not qualified, or just not being sure. And that analysis, or paralysis by analysis, I like that. That's a pretty much sums up what happens when people want to start a business, but they're not sure. And also that there's never going to be the right time. There's always going to be an excuse not to. And if you just make excuses every time, like, oh, well, I just had my first kid, or oh, my kids are all super busy, like I don't have time that way, or even like, I don't know what business to start necessarily, there's always going to be an excuse. We started our business right when we got married, or soon after, and we had just gotten a dog, and we were trying to get our relationship started, and throwing a business into the mix isn't exactly what you'd want to do in that scenario, and both working full time. So there's always an excuse. I'd say to just start.
Great advice. Yeah.
Mhm.
And like you said, there's a lot of fear barriers, right?
Yeah.
False expectations appearing real.
Yep.
So yeah,
Exactly.
it can easily hold you back. So great advice.
Mhm.
Very good. And how will somebody find your company online?
It's RobisonWeb.com, and all the socials are Robison Web as well. So
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, I'll turn it over to Jennifer for the lightning round.
Before we do that, I do have one question for you, Jaden. Could you talk a little bit about the podcast that you're starting?
yeah, so I'm going to be recording some episodes here soon. I'm getting some guests lined up, and it'll mainly be an interview-based podcast, and it's called The Blue Collar Future. With a lot of, I kind of have been thinking about a podcast a lot recently, and with all of these kind of tech layoffs, there's a lot of people worried about not having an industry to go to, and then there's a lot of kind of people pushing to go into tech, and maybe not necessarily the trades, but the trades are going to be around for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So it'll be informative on what it's like, how to start a business in the trades, what it's going to look like going forward, tips for business owners in the trades. I'll be interviewing contractors and stuff, talking about how they've been successful and where they see it going. So
Thanks, that's really cool. So we'll go ahead and start the lightning round questions. First question, what is your favorite, or do you have a favorite local nonprofit or charity that you like to support or promote?
yeah, so we are good friends with a lot of people in the Building Utah Youth Organization. They're a nonprofit educational company for helping empowering teens to become leaders and teaching them about that. So yep, some close friends of ours are pretty heavily involved. So
Nice, that sounds great.
mhm.
And do you have a favorite local restaurant?
We really like Bella's Fresh Mexican Grill in Pleasant View, or I guess that's far west.
Nice.
So yep, really good food there.
Bella's.
Mhm.
And what do you like to do here in Utah in the summertime?
We like to hike and backpack quite a bit, and then I ride dirt bikes quite a bit, and we go to the sand dunes. So we'll go down south, or actually up north to Idaho, but
Okay.
about 2.5 hours both ways. So
And what do you like to do in Utah in the wintertime?
snowmobile.
Okay.
So my whole family snowmobiles, and my wife's family snowboards. So that's what she likes to do. She wants to start snowmobiling as well, but that's what we like to do. The best snow in the world here. So they say.
Especially lately. We
So
get
they
all
say,
kinds
yeah.
of snow.
Yep.
And what do you like best about living in Utah?
There's if you drive about 4 hours in any direction of here, there's completely different scenery everywhere. There's different things to do. You can drive an hour north and be in Bear Lake, and an hour south and be somewhere completely different. So it's really cool. There's a lot of, if you like the outdoors, Utah's a perfect place.
Yep, absolutely. And the last question is, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given on either business ownership or leadership?
I touched on this before, but there's never the right time. So, and that it translates to decisions you make in business. There's never the right time to implement something in your business. I mean, if you have an idea, just go for it. So that's what I'd say. Paralysis by analysis is not uncommon. I'd say, stops a lot of people from acting. So.
Yep, absolutely. Great advice. So thanks, Jaden, for being here. We really appreciate it. And we love getting to know a little bit more about you and your company.
Thank you. Been a pleasure.